Birthright citizenship signing in the Oval Office that we didn't know was happening. And also, right now, live, Donald Trump is speaking to Team USA Winter Olympians at the White House. It looks like they went inside. They didn't actually go into the garden, which it was supposed to be in the garden. So I don't know what happened there, but we will get that to you shortly. We're going to read the news first, then we're going to come right back into that Olympic ceremony live, and then we will go right into the executive orders after that, as well as more news as we do it every day on the show. No news is news. All right, remember, Marco Rubio or JD Vance still retired in our poll of the day. Who will be president in 2028? We have 824 days until election. And here we go with Marco Rubio with 9 wins. We have Gavin Newsom with 21 wins. We have, I just want to make sure that we're checking the odds correctly. Every once in a while I forget to check the odds. Presidential odds are, come on. Give it to me. Here we go. J.D. Vance in top spot. Marco Rubio, Gavin Newsom, John Ossoff, AOC. Absolutely. All right. So, with that said then, John Ossoff got 1 win. And then our 4th choice is AOC. Get your vote in. Get your vote in. The show starts now. And here we go. Let me pull it up for everybody. We already got 1 like in there. Nice hat. Appreciate you, Michael Olson, dropping by to start the show off. First off, we're going to read the news real quick, and then we're going to get into Daddy Trump at the White House with the Olympians. And then he had some executive orders that he signed earlier today. So let's check in on the news right now. Axios, Tucker Carlson unveils a 10-point manifesto amid third-party 2028 presidential speculation. Tucker Carlson used a highly promoted live stream Wednesday to unveil a 10-point vision for America, defending the worldview of a breakaway MAGA fraction increasingly at the odds with President Trump. Though we watched that last night and it was extremely boring, and Nick Fuentes was way more entertaining, honestly. It was kind of crazy. After vowing last month to help build a third party, Carlson fueled further speculation this week by hosting MAGA dissidents like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie at his home in Maine, where they urged him to run for president in 2028. The former Fox News host stopped short of a formal launch and instead presenting the manifesto as the foundation of whatever comes next. A new political order, he said, could find all kinds of expressions. Tucker Carlson's 10-point manifesto, fair. The same rules should apply to presidents, federal agencies, elites such as Jeffrey Epstein, whose impunity Carlson casts as embellic of the Epstein class enriching itself through a corrupt system. 2. Sovereign. Carlson claims Israel pushed the U.S. into the Iran war through bribery or threat or both, while describing foreign lobbying, corporate control of government, and high-interest debt as forms of slavery. 3. Productive. America should rebuild farming, manufacturing, craftsmanship while rejecting an economy dominated by finance, real estate, speculation, surveillance systems, and weapons. 4. Beautiful. Carlson alleges that urban planners deliberately uglify American cities and portray brutalist architecture, graffiti, public drug use, and violent crime as deliberate attacks on the public. 5. Healthy. Carlson embraced RFK Jr.'s food agenda, called for universal sobriety, and said widespread use of drugs such as Xanax, Adderall, SSRIs have left Americans half-addled. 6. Honest. Government officials should be punished for lying to citizens, and most classified records, including on the JFK assassination and 9/11, should be opened. Optimistic. Carlson argues that having children is a biological imperative and that the foundation of long-term thinking, while blaming aging and childless elites for policies that disregard future generations. Wise. Schools should teach how the physical world actually works and what he called unchanged facts about human nature, including innate differences between men and women, rather than credentials, screens, and technical fads. 9. Dissent. The U.S. should apologize and pay restitution for killing non-combatants, reverse Trump's Department of War rebrand, and stop funding allies that commit what Carlson called genocide, citing Israel. 10. United. Carlson called for halting immigration until the effects of AI become clear, ending benefits for undocumented immigrants, and making English the sole language of federal documents and ballots. Marjorie Taylor Greene posts from over the weekend. MTG announced a new political movement with ground of former MAGA Starwells who broke with President Trump over the Iran war in support of Israel. She appears alongside Tucker Carlson, Rep. Thomas Massie, Joe Kent, and former director of National Counterterrorism Center. Also pictured was conservative journalist Brian Glenn, whom Greene married in Las Vegas on Tuesday. The Senate Democratic Super PAC just dropped their first pro-El Sayed ad. Washington Post. GOP senators obtain a copy of Fauci's phone as contempt vote looms. Senators Ron Johnson of Wisconsin said that he would obtain a copy of Anthony Fauci's phone from the Trump administration ahead of planned vote Thursday on whether to hold the retired government scientist in contempt of Congress for declining to answer Republicans' questions last week. Hopefully, this device will address many of the questions he refused to answer at last week's hearing, Johnson, the chairman of the Senate Parliament Subcommittee of Investigations, wrote on social media. Fauci, who helped lead the nation's response to coronavirus pandemic, was subpoenaed to testify in front of Senate's Government Oversight Committee last week. Fauci, at the hearing, repeatedly invoked his Fifth Amendment right not to testify, accusing the committee's chairman, Rand Paul, of trying to wrongly entrap him. Senator Republicans moved to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress on Thursday for his refusal last week to answer questions from the panel. CNN. The party line vote comes from Fauci declined to answer lawmakers' questions during the Fury hearing last week. Republicans lawmakers have since argued that his decision opened the door to federal contempt charges, a crime that, if convicted, can carry with it a sentence of up to a year in prison. Republican Chairman Rand Paul has said he would send the committee's recommendation straight to the Justice Department by bypassing a full Senate vote in a break with precedent that likely to set up a high-stakes legal test. Vice President J.D. Vance will first need to sign off on the committee's circumvention of the long-established rule due to its constitutional role as the president of the Senate. Then it would be up to the Justice Department to decide whether to bring formal charges. Legal experts caution there's little guarantee that the contempt charges would succeed. This is from CNN. Fauci's lawyers, David Schwartzler, called for the move a cruel political stunt intended to punish the retired director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease for exercising his constitutional rights. Schwartzler appeared alongside Fauci at the start of his testimony last Wednesday, but was told to move to a seat behind him and later was removed from the room after the lawyer attempted to speak on behalf of Fauci. While attempt of Congress prosecutions are rare, two former Trump advisors, Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro, were imprisoned on charges during the Biden administration. The pair refused to comply with January 6 committee subpoenas, but both declined to appear for testimony and asserted executive privilege, not the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Fauci received a pardon from President Biden for conduct between 2014 and January 2024, a pardon that then President described as preemptive, giving Republican scrutiny of Fauci. The 2025 pardon wouldn't protect Fauci from any prosecution stemming from conduct after that date, including any remarks made during present-day congressional testimony. Some Republican lawmakers argue otherwise. New York Times and CNN, HHS shutting down Kentucky organ procurement group over safety concerns? Yeah, it sounds like it. The federal government is moving to shut down the organization that manages organ donation in Kentucky region, Health and Human Service Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. said Wednesday, calling the organization a bad apple. The group, Louisville-based Network for Hope, is accused of trying to harvest a man's organs before he was actually dead. He is still alive. The group has ignored signs of growing alertness in more than 70 patients a federal probe found. The organization said it strongly disagrees with the move and will appeal. Bro, the guy is still alive, but you tried to kill him. What are you doing? Appealing. It also works in Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia. HHS oversees the transplant system and cut ties with a similar nonprofit in South Florida last year. Before that, the roughly 55 groups that have federal contracts to manage donations in the country have never faced closure. Well, lucky for us, we have RFK actually stopping 70 people from being murdered by an organ transplant. All right. McConnell discharged from Rehab Center. Senate return still unclear. Senator Mitch McConnell has been discharged from rehabilitation facility and returned home 53 days after being hospitalized following a fall, his office said Thursday. The statement did not say when the 84-year-old plans to return to the Senate. He is serving his final Senate term, which ends in January of 2027. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, a Democrat, urged McConnell last week to prove he is fit to serve or resign. McConnell's office has released 2 photos of the senator and his wife since his hospitalization, but no video or audio. There are no photo attached to the Thursday's announcement. And you can see both of those photos. I did parody AI versions of them in my YouTube shorts. Go check those out, guys. And 3 hours ago, statement released from McConnell's office, update from Senator Mitch McConnell on his official website from Washington, D.C., August 6, 2026. U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell issues the following statement today. Earlier today, I was discharged from rehabilitation center to continue my recovery at home. Elaine and I are grateful for the many well wishes and support from friends, colleagues, and Kentuckians, and for the active care I've received from excellent doctors, nurses, therapists, and hospital staff. On the advice of the doctors, I'll remain on intensive regimen of physical therapy from home during the state work period, and I'll continue to engage with my staff and colleagues on important Senate business. Okay. Washington Post. Israel prosecutors charge a settler with killing Palestinian activists in the West Bank. Israeli prosecutors on Thursday charged a settler for killing a Palestinian activist last year in the occupied West Bank, according to the incident. Yanan Levy, a settler who lived in an Israeli outpost in the southern West Bank territory, is accused of reckless manslaughter and the death of Ahad Mathalian in July of 2025. If convicted, it carries a maximum sentence of 12 years in prison. Mathalian was a prominent community leader who's advocated against settler violence in the southern West Bank. He was involved in the 2025 Oscar-winning film No Other Land, which chronicled the fight by Palestinian residents to protect their homes and villages. Hathalian filmed the moment he was shot during the confrontation. Footage released by the Israeli rights group B. Taspalio shows Levy draw a weapon, fire it at Hathalian's direction. Levy was previously detained firing the shot that killed Hathalian. Okay, wait, so he murdered this guy. They're putting him on prosecution. There's a documentary that won an Oscar. They get the footage, and he might get up to 12 years in Israel. Okay, yeah, no justification for Israel anymore at all. Like, to be honest, guys, like, come on. 12 years, he literally killed the guy? All right. New York Times and News Nation say the incident was a rare case in which the Israeli authorities pressed charges against... Yeah, pressed charges, but again, only 12 years, and he murdered him. Pressed charges against the Israeli for the killing of a Palestinian in the West Bank. The last time was 2019. Many settlers are armed and violent in the West Bank has surged since the beginning of the war in Gaza. At least 35 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli settlers in the past 18 months. There have also been several Palestinian attacks in the territory, leading to the deaths of 17 Israelis during that time. The West Bank, which is about the size of Delaware, is home to 3 million Palestinians, 500,000 Israelis, Israelis, and 1/3 of the Palestinians in the territory live under Israeli military rule, which offers Palestinians few, if any, guarantees of justice. In contrast, settlers in the territory have a legal right of other Israeli citizens. UN states on overall Israeli settlers' attacks in the West Bank in recent years. Foreign governments have been calling on the current Israeli government to crack down on the violence for years. We have 1,291 murders in 2023, 1,449 in 2024, 1,835 in 2025, and now after this prosecution, we are down now to less than 1,000. Wow. So, you actually put people in prison for killing people randomly, and people stop doing it. What do you think? Look at the control of the West Bank. The Area A and Area B, white and yellow, show about a mid-signal of both Palestinian and Israeli control. And that's the news for the day, guys. Let's get into it. Daddy Trump talking to Team USA. And here we go. Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, y'all. Here we go. Oh, whoops.
On New York Magazine, I've written for a bunch of other places, and I wanted a place that's sort of my own. I left Politico a couple months ago.
Sorry, guys. Here we go.
Fantastic. Today we're truly honored to welcome to the White House perhaps the greatest group of Winter Olympians in American history at the 2026 Olympic Games.
So, some person in the chat just said Palestinians is what leftoids call them. My source is Mo News. He is a Jewish reporter from New York City who has been a Jew his whole life. So, nice try.
Games. Team USA won more gold medals than any American Winter Olympic team has ever won before. And what an amazing achievement. Not bad. That's not bad.
Mr. Big Boss, welcome to the Mod Club. Don't
That's
abuse it or you
good,
lose it.
We had some good teams, too.
What the fuck? Why did they do that? What's going on? Oh, here we go.
That's a record. Along with the athletes, I want to thank the Team USA coaches and staff members who are here today, as well as CEO of the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committees, Sarah Hirschland. Sarah, wherever you may be, thank you. Please stand up. Great. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Treasurer of the United States. Well, and this is a very good friend of mine. Where's Brandon? Brandon Beach. That's a good position. Treasurer. Think of that, Treasurer of the United States of America. That's good. He controls a lot of money. And the Director of the United States Mint, Paul Hollis. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Great job.
Just say that you hate Jews and keep on pushing, fatty. We're not going to deal with this propaganda in the fucking chat anymore, guys. This fucking retard Jewish propaganda, all right? 24-hour ban because you're just a complete fucking retard. Bye.
So last February...
Like, I'm not going to do this.
Olympic.
Like, it's literally a Jewish reporter from Bloomberg. I'm reading the article, and because it says, say, Palestine and Palestinian, I have this fucking retard in the chat acting like I'm against the Jews. Like, we're not doing this in the chat anymore. This is a bipartisan, make fun of both sides news program. I know we only got 2 more years of Daddy Trump and then it's wage the war, the Jews and the Muslims. I know that I'm a white nationalist just by saying I don't give a fuck about your stupid fucking holy war. But yeah, let's get back to fucking America.
Olympians traveled to northern Italy and they returned home to America wearing 9 bronze medals, 12 silver medals, and a record 12 Winter Olympic golds. Nothing like that. That was the all-time record. These men and women sacrifice years of their lives and countless early mornings to be the best in the world. That's right. I guess you get up early in the morning, don't you? I remember those days, but I didn't do it as well as you. Not quite. It's really something, and they were early mornings, and they did it for the highest privilege in all of sports, wearing the red, white, and blue, while representing those 3 proud letters on their uniform. It's called USA, and that's what you do.
What up, DeFranco?
Among the great medalists with us this evening is one of those who helped bring home the team figure skating gold, Danny O'Shea. Where's Danny O'Shea? Where's Danny? Where's Danny? Not bad, Danny. That's pretty good. I watched that one. Great going, Danny. You look better in person if you want to. When it mattered most, Danny skated the best he has ever skated. Would you say that was the best you've ever? The best. You're never going to do it again. Are you going to do it again? You'll do it again.
This is why no one likes your stream, because you're a puppet for the mainstream. Hey, I'm having a great day here. Welcome to your 24-hour ban. I mean, you guys are communists anyway, so you must like being beat down like communists, right? Bye.
Yeah, but he said it was the best he ever skated, and other people too in his entire life, and his performance helped the U.S. edge out Japan.
America first, absolutely. Welcome to the Mod Club.
Event by a
Don't
single
abuse it or you lose
69 to 68. And I want to just say again, because I watched that, Danny, well done, and the whole team, well done. That's incredible.
I'm not playing this game today, guys. We're not playing this fucking game today.
That's great. Also with us is the single most decorated American Olympian from the 2026 Games, speed skater Jordan Stolz. And I watched that one too. Strong legs, very strong legs. I said, how do I get my legs to look like that? I don't have any time to work like that. But you were amazing. And historic victories. Jordan broke the Olympic record in the men's 500-meter, 1,000-meter speed skating, winning double gold medals. In addition, Jordan brought home the silver in the 1,500-meter competition, and he just did a great job. Everybody's still talking about it. So, Jordan, where are you, Jordan?
World War II ended. USA had the nuke that could have taken the world. The U.S. built countries. U.S. first. The PS is not what made you great. Facts.
And I met Jordan
A
before,
holy war in America is not what's going to make us
young
great in 2 years,
man,
guys. So let's
great
fucking knock
future.
it the fuck off.
We also have
Focus
the gold
up.
medal champion in women's moguls, Elizabeth Lemley. I don't know how you do that, Elizabeth. That's amazing stuff. Where's Elizabeth? Along with gold medal winning mixed aerial freestyle skiing team consisting of Christopher Lillis, Connor Curran, and Kayla Kuhn. Thank you very much. Well, where are you? Great job. I also have to mention the team that won perhaps the greatest victory on the hockey rink since the original Miracle on Ice, and they were here in February, and it was an amazing moment, just an incredible, the 2026 Men's Olympic Hockey Team. We celebrated together, and it was something special. It was really an amazing period of time, and the women's team and the men's team, it was just incredible. And in that overtime thriller, Team USA beat Canada 2-1, thanks to many memorable performances and clutch plays, including the golden goal. They scored it. They called it the golden, it sounds like me naming it. I call it the golden age of America. The golden age of America. Now we have the golden goal. But that's okay. And that was done by Jack Hughes, as you know, great guy. And a record 41 saves by goalie Connor Hellebuck. And he was MVP. Everybody would agree to that. He was unbelievable. He was something. And, of course, we can't forget and never would. And nobody would have the courage to forget either, because they are amazing. The history-making women's hockey team, this team left everything right on the ice, and they beat Canada and clinched the Olympic gold. With us today are two of the key contributors to that winning effort, Abby Murphy and Joy Dunn. And I want to thank you, Abby and Joy, for really a memorable period of time. It was just an amazing time for our country. Where are you, Abby and Joy?
Let's get our money's worth. Facts. Bomb them all. That's kind of how I feel at this point. Bomb them all. Fuck it.
That was really something. But never before in history have both of our men's and women's hockey teams won gold in a single season. This is truly and I say it's just a period of time. Our country has never done better than it's doing right now in so many different ways, even in terms of investment. 19.2 trillion is pouring into our country, making them richer. It's making everybody in this room richer, including my man. But it's been a great period of time. And I will say this: the whole world is
Ask
knowing,
about
and
the
they
wig,
know it,
never
and they
stop
say
asking.
it. We have right now.
Yo, his hair is totally different than it was yesterday, isn't it? It is kind of crazy. That hair he had yesterday was something else. I don't know what happened.
Country anywhere.
But his
in the
hair
world,
yesterday
and
was something
a big
else.
factor is right standing behind me, and what a future they have, every one of them. Thank you very much. Such an honor.
Looks like he's back to normal.
So, adding to this historic success, our Paralympians brought home their 5th straight gold medal in sled hockey, and extended one of the greatest dynasties in all of international sports. And it's amazing what you've done. Nobody's ever done anything like it. Where are you? Let me just see. Congratulations. And congratulations to Brett Bolton, David Eustace, Jack Wallace, Caden Beasley, Kevin McKee, Landon Utke, Liam Cunningham, Malik Jones, Declan Farmer, and Jen Lee. You are really an inspiration, and thank you very much. It's an amazing, amazing achievement that we'll never forget. And it was a record. There's something nice about record performances. It was a record. It's one of the highest pleasures of the presidency to be able to support our nation's best athletes, and that's what they are, and celebrate the champions of Team USA. Under the Trump administration, we're doing everything we can to protect the cherished sporting traditions that have long been part of our nation from the beginning, right from the beginning. And already we've done a lot to help save women's sports, and we're also saving college sports. We're in the process of working very hard. We had a bad judge's decision, and a judge that knew nothing about sports declared sports unconstitutional. Can you believe it? And we had to come and put something together, and we had the help of so many great people. They all came together, and we have a bill right now that we're trying to get passed, and if it does, we'll be bringing sports back, and you'll all be protected, and your sports will be protected, and frankly, women will be protected, because with what happened, that was the worst thing that happened to women's sports. You understand that? And we're working very hard with a lot of great people. Nick Saban, as an example, was so instrumental. Andy Levine, he's the president of the New York Yankees, and just so many. They all came together, the Big Ten, the SEC, and what a mess it was, a court case that was a disaster. And why they didn't appeal that case, I have no idea. I won't ask about that, but they didn't appeal it. Some genius said, let's not appeal it. And that was a perfect case to win an appeal, but the people that were running things did not appeal it. So foolish. But we have it going, and we're very close to a deal that will be terrific, I think, and really save college sports and save colleges, if you want to know the truth. The money that was being spent because of this ridiculous decision.
Do you need a spanking too? Do you want to get banned too?
But the collegiate athletic system is the engine of American Olympic dominance. And, you know, you produce the great Olympians. They really can compete in college and all sports, every sport, producing 88 Team USA athletes for the 2026 Winter Games alone.
Later.
And to that end, I am urging the House and the Senate to come together.
Come with something of substance, or don't come at all.
Like that's what they have done. Together, and send the bill to my desk. I will sign it immediately, done by some of the greatest people in sports. And I think we have no choice. We have to get that done, right? We have to get that done. And if we don't, we're very foolish. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're in Never Never Land, and we're not going to let that
We're in Never Never Land?
be happening. We're just not going to let it happen to these great people and others, but we're not going to let that happen. I know many of the Olympians here today are already training for the next Winter Games in 8 years from now. Who is expecting and hoping to be in the next Olympics? Because, well, we're going to run that good like we did the World. Good. That's great. That's great. Well, we're going to do a real job. You know, we had the greatest, most successful, the FIFA, the World Cup was the most, and I want to just pay a special thanks to Andrew. You did a fantastic job, Andrew Giuliani. Great job. It was like a flawless thing. It was 4 times more successful than monetarily and every other way. I think other ways even more than that. But it was, well, thank you. But we're going to do it again now for them. We have to do it again for them. So we're going to make this one of the best, maybe the best. But that was the most successful World Cup they've ever had, by far. They actually say by 4 times greater. I said, let's do it again in 4 years, but other countries had problems with that, right? But in 8 years from now, some of you may even have a chance to compete on American soil on the 2034 Winter Olympics, where it's going to be in Salt Lake City. And, of course, and that'll be great. And, of course, we're all looking forward to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. So we got a lot of action. We have a lot of action going, so it's really going to be something, and it's going to be well run. It's been well run, just like FIFA. We didn't have a problem. It was so smooth. All of those games, it was sort of like they said, having a Super Bowl every day, and actually in some cases having about 4 Super Bowls a day.
Yeah, right.
But it worked out so flawlessly. We're very proud of it. And so I want to just once again thank everybody representing our nation so incredibly and setting all of those records, because many of you set records.
Guys, make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, help support the channel, throw those super chats out, and become a member. Only $4 a month. Keep the channel independent. Keep the channel sponsor free. 7 days a week with the news. Let's get back to Donald Trump with the Olympians.
Setting a record is a big deal all those years, and you showed the entire world that the Americans really, they know how to fight, and win, and you can do that better than anybody. And I'm going to be watching you again very soon. And now let's have 2 of the Team USA's flag bearers, the great flag bearers, this past Winter Olympics, come forward for a special gift presentation. One of the most decorated Paralympians in U.S. history, a phenomenal athlete, Lori Stevens, along with U.S. Army Sergeant and bobsled team member, a great talent, Frank Del Duca. Do you know Frank Del Duca? Where's Frank Del Duca? Is that Frank? Come here, Frank. Strong, very strong hands.
BB Trump, the tag team champs? They're all the tag team champs right now, I guess.
Mr. President, my name is Frank Del Duca, and I'm joined here with my teammate, 6-time Paralympian Lori Stevens.
BB is way better than Trump? Ooh. I don't know about that.
We had the unique privilege of serving as
Trump's
Team
done, it's all
USA's
fucking over,
flag
guys.
bearers at the opening
I've already
ceremony
seen it
of the
with this
Olympic
Muslim
Games
bullshit.
and Paralympic
These
Games
goddamn
in Milano
fucking
Cortina.
Israel
Thank
fanatics.
you for welcoming us to the White House. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for your support of America's Olympic and Paralympic athletes, and for helping to celebrate the movement that unites and inspires so many across our country. On behalf of Team USA, we would like to gift you these keepsakes. We hope you'll wear them proudly as you continue to cheer on Team USA.
I will be. Thank you very much.
Hey, you got a jacket. All the shit that they give him, it's like, does he just sell it? Like, what does he do with it? Like, you know he doesn't use any of it. Ever. Now she gonna give him some shoes. Congratulations, you got a pair of really shitty shoes.
USA! 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 USA!
There you go. Took you guys a little minute.
USA! USA! USA!
Oh no! Oh no!
We have some
Stop billboarding.
really beautiful coins. I love
Yeah, 5
coins.
minutes.
I love-
Stop billboarding.
I always love coins, but we have the best of them. We're going to give everybody here a very special coin. And if you can, we'll get down and I'll show you the Oval Office. Do you like to see the Oval Office? I don't do this with too many of the people. And most of them just want to get out of there. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like. Some of them I don't like so much. But they all come here. We just had the Dodgers. They were fantastic. The Super Bowl, we have everybody. And this is
We had the Dodgers, the Super Bowl, we had everybody, and now we have you.
I mean, to do it 6 times. How do you do it 6 times? That's a lot of heart. That's a lot of heart. So we're going to come down to the Oval Office together. We're going to take one picture here, and then we're going to present you all with a very special, really something that you're going to like, a coin, but very special coin from the White House, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay? We're going to give you a coin, okay? We're going to have you guys take a photo, and then we're going to give you a coin, okay?
Great job. Great job. Let's go. We'll do this. Come on. I'll see you down at the Oval, okay? We're going to see you down there.
Is there anything else going on here then? Or just the end of it? That was the end of it. All right, okay, guys, let's move in now to Trump's executive orders earlier today. This wasn't supposed to be recorded, and then they just kind of did it, which is weird. There's like not a lot of press in here. They were invited in last second.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a few subjects that we're going to discuss, all important, but one in particular important having to do with birthright citizenship. And Will, if you would, maybe you could, we'll start it off with what Howard's going to be discussing.
So, a short while ago, sir, you signed an order relating to the polysilicon industry. This is a series of trade and tariff actions under Section 232 intended to ensure that domestic polysilicon manufacturing is properly supported and protected from overseas dumping and offshore threats. Howard can speak more to the details, but polysilicon is incredibly important in the chip-making industry and a number of other industries as well. And like many of your previous trade actions, sir, this is intended to ensure that we're onshoring manufacturing capacity, that we're onshoring our own supply of critical products, and that we're protecting American industry from malign foreign actors in that space.
Thank you.
So polysilicon is sort of the foundational product that makes silicon wafers that become the AI chips.
Just an asterisk on listening to Howard Lutnick. This man lied about going to Epstein Island. This man murdered everyone on the Wall Street floor. And this man decided to take his kid to school the day of 9/11 so that he wasn't in the building. And then did an interview on CNN about how sad it was that everybody died. Howard Lutnick is the epitome of all evil. Howard Lutnick, Kash Patel, and I think those are the only... Oh, and then this new attorney general. Those are the only three we still need to get rid of. We did get rid of Pam Bondi. We got rid of fucking Kristi Noem. Like, you know, we're halfway there, but the other half is even crazier than the first half.
And the chips that are in our phones and everything. So the president's policies have brought 50% of production into America. But we need the foundational products made here. Otherwise, you know, we're making the products here, but we need the supply chain here. So this will bring the supply chain here. We're setting prices so that the Chinese can't dump anymore, and we're setting tariffs to say build it here. We've got the industry here. It's too small, and it's going to explode under your leadership.
And we're having massive numbers of, I guess you'd call them factories or plants built having to do with the manufacturing of chips, more than we've ever had before. Intel, we're very proud of. They've done incredible. They've really been an incredible company. But we're doing some unbelievable business. Chips will have a big percentage of the chip business by the time I leave office. which could be a long time. Who knows? But it could also be fairly quick. They say 2.5 years. We're going to find out. But I just want
What do
to
you mean
say
you're going to find out?
It's an honor to have worked with a very smart.
But at this point, I kind of just want it to just stay Trump forever, because what's next is going to be evil and awful and fucking give me a headache either way. That's why I went as hard as I did on the chat earlier today. It was just, I had a really negative experience yesterday. And it's getting even worse today. Because now there's just this mass manipulation where it's like, I can't say that El Said is a retard for saying he would break bread on Passover with Jews without getting a bunch of Muslims to be like, break bread is a metaphor. And a bunch of Jews to be like, see, the Muslims are terrorists. Maybe he's just a stupid politician. Can we just, what happened to just pointing out stupid politicians?
Group of people. And we're bringing the chip business
want
back
Trump to
into the
stay.
United States in a very big way. Jameson, do you have anything to say about that?
Sir, I think you need to put this in the context of everything else that's happening. Manufacturing productivity is the highest it's been in years. We haven't seen any growth. Under President Biden, the last part of his presidency, he lost 220,000 manufacturing jobs. The president has stabilized this. Now the manufacturing jobs are going up. So all of these indicators on the manufacturing are happening. It's because of tariffs. It's because of trade actions. It's because of the investment credits you've given people, the tax credits, everything you're doing, the energy policy. All of it is bringing manufacturing back here, protecting American workers and American jobs.
Well, tariffs are bringing us hundreds of billions of dollars worth of dollars. I mean, just money. The money that we've never seen anything like it with no inflation. By the way, everyone said, oh, there'll be inflation. We have very low inflation. We brought inflation way down. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but I say the history of our country, and from the Biden administration, and we're bringing it way down. So the numbers I mean, beyond the money being brought in, the number of factories being built in our country is more now than we have ever seen before. There's never been anything like it. And you're going to see the results. And you're seeing the results already in construction jobs because they're being built all over the country. But in another year, as they start to open, there's never been, we call it the golden age of America, and that's what it is. Now, if we could talk, Steve, maybe you could discuss what we're dealing with on birthright citizenship. We had a very unfortunate decision in the Supreme Court concerning birthright. It was close, but a very, very unfortunate decision. So we're making adjustments because it's very unfair. This was done for a different reason. This was done right after the Civil War. This was for the babies of slaves. And what's happening now, people are building businesses around it. From wealthy people are building businesses around birthright citizenship. That's not the way it's supposed to work. It's a disgrace. They're buying their way in. And we're not going to let it happen. So, Steve, if you will, please.
Yes, so today the President signed these two executive orders here relating to birthright citizenship and birth tourism. As the President mentioned, the 14th Amendment was passed exclusively in the aftermath of the Civil War so to ensure that the children of slaves would be citizens. It had no other meaning and purpose outside of that. And that's been clear, obviously, since the day that it was passed. You can go back and you can read the congressional seriously contested by anybody. The President is using his authority as Commander-in-Chief to sign first an executive order using the new ruling the Supreme Court issued to expand the definitions of people who are ineligible for birthright citizenship. That includes, for example, alien enemies of the United States, members of foreign terrorist organizations, and large categories of people who lobby and act on behalf of foreign governments. And so with taking this action, it ensures that large numbers of people who wrongly would be getting birthright citizenship will no longer be eligible for those benefits. The second action that he's taking, which is especially historic, is for the first time ever in American history to ban...
Toby, is that all you can say is pedo? How about context? Bro, then they're going to just give you some elaborate spin on reality.
So I want you to really let that sink in. This has been something that people have talked about.
But I do find it funny because you're kind of ruining the words.
The idea that...
You know, Alex, read what I said earlier. Pedo accusations are not what needed, though.
People come here
check that out,
pretending to be a tourist, pretending to be a visitor, saying they want to go to Disneyland, they want to go visit a monument or go to a national park. But the real reason they're here is to have a child, to make that child an automatic citizen, leave our country, and then
I'm
have
not
a
sure,
US
but I
citizen
think
child
that
that gives them access
I use
under this broken
PayPal through
system
my YouTube.
to welfare
That's what I use,
benefits,
but I don't know, it
ultimately
might
to the
not
voting
authorize it
booth,
right for you
and
or
all the other
something.
rights and privileges
It's
that
always
belong
fucking
solely
annoying.
to Americans. So that practice of birth tourism is, as of the signing of this order, hereby banned. And what that means is that no one in the world is any more allowed to obtain a visa for this fraudulent purpose. It is probably, and President Trump has done many historic things on immigration, too many to list now, sealed the southern border shut, record deportations, record integrity, stopping foreign terrorist entry, record reduction in drug seizures, dismantling criminal cartels, dismantling the gangs, right? Everything he's done that has been so unprecedented. I would put this in the top 3 in terms of importance because it ends what has been one of the gravest and most egregious abuses of the American system, and it keeps American citizenship sacred.
Thank you. Okay?
Mr. President?
That's big stuff. That's a big deal. Bruce, go ahead.
Thank you. On the birth tourism executive order, what are the plans for enforcement in terms of cracking down on birth tourism hotels this common in parts
So
of
we're cracking down.
Signed up with both and still nothing? That's crazy. Did it charge you, though, or no? Is it just not the authorization?
Very
thing?
big
I'm not sure.
crackdowns, and this will give us the right to do it in a much
me, it
more
just hooks
forceful
up right
manner.
to my phone
But they've taken
with the
birthright
YouTube.
citizenship and they've made a joke out of it. And we're actually the only country of size, I think just about the only country, period, that does birthright citizenship. I thought we were going to win it at the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, we had a bad decision.
Also, like those glitches in tech apps are like fucking notorious because like I had like a Facebook subscription that I was trying to cancel for or trying to get for years, and it was like always timing out.
Very
on me.
unfair
So
decision.
I'm
Our
not sure.
country suffers because
Appreciate
of it,
you trying to help support the
and we're
channel.
ending it a different way.
Mr. President, at the Supreme Court, John Sauer, the Solicitor General, did not have an answer as to how many individuals take advantage of birth tourism. Is there a number that you
I'll
can
tell you
cite?
right now, hundreds of thousands, okay? Hundreds of thousands. You have one man came in with a family, said he had 56 children. Another one came in, they said they had 98 children. This was not what it was for. This was meant for the babies of slaves. It was right after 1 week or 2 weeks after the Civil War ended. This wasn't for wealthy multi-millionaires, billionaires coming in and bringing 15, 20, 30 children along with them. It's become a big business, and we're ending that business. Please.
What makes you confident, Mr. President, that this will pass constitutional muster?
I think it will. I think, in fact, I asked a very talented person named Will Scharf, who's standing right behind me. Do you want to discuss that, Will? You felt pretty strongly about it.
The law is absolutely clear. What we're talking about, as Stephen said, with respect to birth tourism, something that used to happen incidentally, where somebody who happened to be on vacation here went to labor early and had a baby. This was sort of a relatively small problem. What we've seen in recent years, though, is organized rings, at times criminal rings, setting up a system whereby tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people can come to this country in an organized fashion.
And you got to stop that part.
Give
You
birth
have to
here
stop
purely for the sake of obtaining birthright citizenship. This order takes a number of different actions intended to combat those sorts of organized practices. We look very heavily at denying visas to people that we have reason to believe are coming here for that purpose. Visas both for putative parents, but also for people organizing these rings. There's also obviously a law enforcement component. We'll have a full fact sheet released on this soon, but what we're doing is taking legally validated means that are clearly within our disposal and targeting them square on to this birth tourism industry. There's absolutely nothing in here that runs afoul of any of the Supreme Court's opinions on the subject. This is, frankly, it's action that's overdue, and I'm thankful that President Trump is finally taking decisive action to combat this issue of birth tourism now that it's been queued up in the way that it has as a result of the Supreme Court's opinion.
This should have been done a long time ago. This should have happened years ago, but we're taking care of it now, please.
Thank you. Can you help us understand understand how you distinguish between a tourist and a birth tourist.
Well, I'll let you discuss it, please.
Yes, happy to. And so, by the way, that was an excellent presentation.
Thank you, Stephen.
For those of you who want to do your research on this, Section 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act gives the president this authority. 215A of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Very rarely used, probably one of the strongest laws in the entire federal code, gives him this power. And that's not the only, but it's the main statutory authority that's being used in this order. So birth tourism is by definition a fraud on the American system, on the American taxpayer, on the American visa. If you're coming here, and again, your stated purpose is that you're a tourist, then by definition, you are here to come for a few weeks, look at what we have, engage in commerce, and leave. So if you're telling a consular officer you're here as a tourist, but your true purpose and intent is to go to a base.
Okay, so it says here, if you're referring to Section 215 of Immigration and National Act 81185 gives presidential authority to impose reasonable rules and restrictions on entry, departure, or non-citizens during certain circumstances. It is an immigration control statute, not a citizenship statute. The Trump administration has argued that this authority, together with the president's national security and foreign affairs power, can be used to restrict practices such as birth tourism and defend certain categories of people who they contend are not entitled to birthright citizenship. Yeah, this is actually way worse now, guys, than if you would have just said no.
Because
now it's going to be unclear. It's going to be up to the administration to decide.
Then you're committing a fraud against the American government. And by definition, that visa can and should and will be now denied.
Mr. President, there is a report that you told donors that they need to get J.D. Vance elected in 2028. Is that your official endorsement?
No. It's. I heard about it a little while ago. I think he's great, but we're way too early to even be thinking about that. Okay?
And Mr. President, Republicans are arguing a lot right now about affordability. What is your message on affordability going into the midterm?
Well, that's a good question, but it's sort of
JD's
simple
still
to
retired.
answer.
He's got 60 wins right now.
I inherited the highest prices ever. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country. And we have done an amazing job. And oil prices now are coming down very rapidly. If you look at what's going on, it's down to 75. When I started the very important excursion into the Islamic Republic of Iran, it was a very important excursion because they can't have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, the whole world would get blown up. We're not going to let that happen. Not only us, not only the Middle East, the whole world would have been catastrophic. We had no choice. We had oil down to less than two, in many places like Iowa. Oil was down to, gasoline was down at numbers that people hadn't seen in years. $1.85, $1.95 for the past Tuesday. I was in Iowa at a stop, and we had $1.95, another one, $1.85 a gallon. And we'll see those days pretty soon again, based on everything I see, as soon as the war ends. And I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Yeah, please.
Has a deal been reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's sort of open right now. You know, we have a thing called the Blockade, headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. And now we control it, but they can always shoot something. They always have something or drop a mine. And if you have one mine sitting out there, you sort of mess things up because people don't want to take their billion-dollar boats and accidentally get hit by a mine. But I think we're doing very well. I just, I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine. It could be soon, yeah.
Mr. President, have you lobbied any of the undecided Republicans who will vote tomorrow on Todd Blanche's nomination?
I will lobby if I need to. I will lobby very, very diligently because he's outstanding. He should be good. I mean, I can't imagine he's as good as there is in the country. People have such unbelievable respect for Todd Blanche, so hopefully that won't be necessary. I spoke to some people, I did, but hopefully it'll all work out very well for the country because you're not going to find better than Todd Blanche.
Will you reach out to Senator Murkowski, Senator Cassidy, for instance? Let's
see if we need anybody. I'll reach out to whoever I have to, but anybody voting against him would be doing a great disservice to the country, please.
Mr. President, the deadline for Representative Max Miller to withdraw from his race is coming up next week. Do you believe he should withdraw at this point?
Well, I'm not going to get involved in that. It's a very sad situation, and I know Max very well, but it's very, very sad that a situation like that takes place. Yeah.
Do you think the DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci?
Well, you know, they prosecuted Peter Navarro.
Yeah,
And they
that's the
prosecuted
thing.
Steve Bannon, two
Yeah.
very decent people,
And put him
over
in
something
prison.
that essentially was never prosecuted before. And there are sort of
I
telltale
think
signs
that
of
he deserves it a lot more than Peter Navarro.
And they went to jail for a number of months over something that I saw one of the analysts said they used to laugh at it in the Justice Department when something like that was referred. But Merrick Garland prosecuted two very decent people and sent them to jail. I wasn't president. I would have given them a pardon in 2 seconds. But I wasn't. It was after I left. They waited till after I left, and then they prosecuted these two people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes,
Yeah.
frankly. But they prosecuted two people
We
with
won't get
nothing
it,
like
though.
that has
Why
ever
would we
taken
ever
place
get that?
before.
Why would he get justice on Fauci?
President, on munitions, you posted overnight that the U.S. has a massive amount, and
Right.
you denied that there were any shortages. There is a supplemental request for $21 billion
Sure.
to restock. So why is that request still there if there's
Well,
no
because we need
urgency?
more all the time. I mean, we need more. Look, we gave tremendous amount to Ukraine. The Biden people did. And they were given free of charge. No charge. No charge. Billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And fortunately, I built up so much during my term. I rebuilt the military and also loaded it up with a lot of stuff. And we have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have unlimited, virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis. As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks, for everything.
We the people lost me.
But we
yeah,
have
absolutely.
Certain
Especially
types
over
of
last
munitions, which are very,
It's getting really polarizing.
they may not be as accurate. They may not be, they're not as elite. We have elite too, but we're watching that very closely. But we have certain types which are very powerful and very good, and we have an unlimited supply, and so we're in great shape. But with that being said, we always want more. We have to have more. We have other things maybe come up. You maybe come up and maybe don't come up. Hopefully nothing else does come up. But we're in very good shape. We have literally massive amounts of ammunition. Yeah.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, President Zelensky says his country desperately needs long-range missiles or those Patriot missile batteries. Is that something that you're...
Well, I mean, we want missiles too. When Biden gave him so much, Biden gave $300 billion worth of ammunition. When I left, it was full, and he gave a lot of it away. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're using munitions that are very powerful, very good, but we wouldn't have been using them. We could have used something else. But these are a little bit older type, equally as effective, and it's things that we have so much. Plus, we have supplies of munitions all over the world that if we ever needed them, we'd take that. We're supplied all over the world, but we're in very, very good shape.
Russia seems to have increased their attacks on
I
civilian
know,
areas.
I know.
That must be a concern to you, Mr. President.
Well, look, we're not involved from the standpoint we're separated by an ocean, but I hate to see 25,000 young people a month get killed, and that's what's happening. Between Russia and Ukraine, they're losing on average 25,000, mostly soldiers, a month. And, we're working on it, and I think we're making progress, but it's a violent, very violent war. There's a lot of hatred in that war, a lot of hatred between the two leaders. I settled 8 wars. I thought this would be maybe one of the easier ones, and it turned out to be the most difficult. But progress is being made. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks.
All right, guys, so let's move over now to the news for the day. Let's get into it. What's up next? Watch later. Let's go. Here we go. Fauci.
Okay, Bill, so the Department of Justice says it will review the contempt vote against Dr. Anthony Fauci that just happened here live in the last hour. This comes after Senate investigators got a hold of Dr. Fauci's COVID-era phone, the government phone. They have it. Here is Committee Chairman Rand Paul just moments ago speaking with reporters.
1 million Americans died, and I think they deserve to know the truth. Anthony Fauci has advocated for dangerous gain-of-function research for 2 decades now. The question why is not a question that he can have liability for. He was given a pardon. Interestingly, the pardon starts in 2014. That's when the funding of the lab in Wuhan started. So I think he should answer questions. As far as pleading the fifth when you have a pardon, all you have to do is tell the truth, just not commit a new crime. But if we were to grant him immunity from telling the truth, of what value, would his testimony be?
Fauci's lawyer responded to the vote today, saying in part, quote, today's partisan committee vote is a crude political stunt intended to punish Dr. Fauci for exercising his constitutional rights. The Senate should reject Senator Paul's meritless and politically motivated contempt resolution. That's coming from Fauci's lawyer. Let's bring in former New York Times reporter Alex Berenson. So, Alex, we watched it all live here on Fox News. What's your top line takeaway and then your reaction to his lawyer?
So my top line takeaway is it's difficult to know whether Tony Fauci is actually at legal risk here. Okay, he probably has the right to take the fifth.
Well, right, but then how do you justify the Peter Navarro, Steve Bannon arrests? Like, if you're going to say that January 6th was this severe and that these officials were in charge of it, then you have to say the same thing to Fauci with COVID. COVID, to a normal human being, COVID is no fucking different than January 6th. It was a bunch of reckless media buffoons telling you how to think.
Prosecutions, and the fifth doesn't just apply to federal, right? So he's probably got a pretty good case for taking the fifth legally. That's different than morally or societally or ethically. We all want what Rand Paul wants. We want him to answer some questions about what he actually thinks about gain-of-function research now. Would he still support what he supported before the pandemic? Whether he actually believes the lockdowns that he pushed so hard were necessary. We want him to be honest. We want him to answer questions. The guy's 85 years old. I don't want Tony Fauci to go to jail. Now, look, I know there's a lot of readers on my Substack who want Tony Fauci to go to jail. I just want him to tell the truth. And I wish we could get to that point. And if threatening to throw him in jail is what it takes to answer questions honestly, then do that. But let's get him to answer.
I don't know if the Trump team wants to pursue it that far.
That's right.
And prosecute Fauci.
See, this is what I mean. I don't know if they want to actually do that. Like, they did it to your people. They did it to your people. Guys, we're going to go into our second hour of our show right now. Let's keep the audio rolling on this.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We had a guest on last hour suggested give him blanket immunity. Yep. Do that, and then maybe you get the answers then. What do you think of that?
I think that's a great idea, Bill. Let's get him to a place where he can answer honestly. And by the way, I think he also owes people an apology for his clear love of fame and celebrity in 2020 and 2021 as people were dying, as people in nursing homes were not being allowed to see their children and grandchildren, as kids were getting their schools taken from them. What was he worried about? Well, a lot of him was worried about Joan Baez and Julia Roberts and Barbara Streisand butt dialing him. It's absurd, and he should apologize for that stuff. And if a grant of immunity is what it takes to get us there, let's do it.
But I'm not suggesting you give him immunity so that he escapes culpability. I'm trying to get us ready for the next pandemic to make sure that we're defended as well as we can. Go ahead.
And it wasn't just vanity, Alex. It was also the villainization of so many people, average Americans. You could not question anything that the government was doing or what was happening or where COVID began. I want to play this montage of Anthony Fauci talking about the wet markets when this all happened. Watch.
They said there was something like 24 cases in this wet market. This was jumping from an animal to a human in the context of the wet market. The origin was from the Wuhan wet market.
But by 2023, government agencies started to believe that this might have been a lab leak. In fact, the FBI said for quite some time now, they had assessed that the origins of the pandemic are most likely a potential lab leak. 2023 again, the U.S. Energy Department felt the same way. 2025, the CIA assesses with low confidence, though, that a research-related origin of the COVID-19 pandemic is more likely than a natural origin. I think one of the worst things to come out of this, out of COVID, not just the millions of Americans that died, obviously, and all the families that were broken up, but it created this mistrust.
Trump was president in 2020, and then Trump was president again in 2024. It's all about Donald Trump.
I'm pretty sure that Toby has Down syndrome.
That has not left our
Right?
system, and there's been no
Or he's
accountability
definitely
for it.
retarded.
Not one person has had to answer for it.
I mean, look, you're absolutely correct. I want to go back to something you said about the silencing, okay, because that affected me personally, right? The Biden administration and senior Pfizer officials colluded to get me off Twitter. They forced Twitter to ban me in August 2021. Really, it was only thanks to Substack and Fox, honestly, that I was able to keep talking. But they took away my
Right.
biggest voice.
Right.
And to see that nobody's apologized, nobody's even admitted.
Right, that's what I mean. And then why are you up here going, I don't think they should arrest him? No, you should arrest him. You should arrest him, and you should stick him on a fucking stake and let us throw tomatoes at him. That should be his punishment. You are arrested, you're incarcerated, you have 48 hours. We're going to stick you out in front of the fucking Capitol building in a guillotine, and we're going to throw tomatoes at your fucking face. And then you get to go home. The end. That's your punishment. You need to bring that fucking Middle East ass shit to fucking Fauci.
That
Okay?
happened. I mean, the Trump administration admitted it happened a couple months ago.
Because even if
but
he goes to
nobody
prison,
was
what's he going to
involved
prison? A
has told
fucking
the truth.
vacation home?
So yes, like there is so much for them to be honest about, and to see Fauci take the fifth, I think it's stirred up a lot of emotions, even in people who, who maybe aren't as aware of every detail of what happened, because we all lived through this. As we were saying before, off air, we've all wanted to forget about it, but we can't forget about it because it was a bad, traumatic time, and we need to reckon with it.
People couldn't say goodbye to their grandparents.
That's right.
People were posting, when he was pleading the fifth, invoking the fifth, over and over again, people online were posting pictures of their
Yes.
grandparents behind
Yes.
a glass wall. We all forgot about
Yes.
it.
We all forgot
But
about it. But we didn't.
I don't know why they all forgot about it. I don't know why the guy that's claiming that he was silenced as he sits on Fox News is acting like he forgot about it. Because I sure as fuck didn't forget about it. I didn't forget about the $5,000 hold on my fucking documentary Christmas in Florida. I didn't forget about the 2.5 years that they told me not to sell that documentary. I didn't forget about the fact that the second that Donald Trump was elected, it's now available on Amazon Prime. Go watch Christmas in Florida, the only Christmas movie to end on January 6th. It's available on Amazon Prime right now.
Didn't really forget.
Only
and we
because
haven't had a chance to forgive or move
these
past it.
motherfuckers aren't in charge
The best thing
anymore.
that could happen would be a real conversation between Rand Paul and Tony Fauci.
Well, we're still living with it in many ways. Alex, thank you for your
Bill,
courage.
thanks for having
Thanks
me.
for coming back here today.
Facts, man.
DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci.
Well, they prosecuted Peter Navarro, and they prosecuted Steve Bannon.
See, this is how I feel about it. It's like, if you're going to do it to other people, then you got to
over
get
something
yourself.
that essentially
You're going to
was
get
never
yourself.
prosecuted before.
They shouldn't have done it.
And
They
there
don't
are
want it to fucking
sort
happen to them.
of telltale signs of similarity. Merrick Garland prosecuted two very decent people and sent them to jail. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes, frankly.
Fauci could be headed for another lockdown, only this one comes with actual
Wow, 2026 H1X. You have to be the slowest retard in the room. You're almost about to lose your mod access just for how completely retarded you are. I forgot about it because I'm not a dumbass who didn't get the vax, so I didn't have unvaxxed people dying in the hospital because my people aren't dumb as fuck. Like, do you genuinely believe that? Do you genuinely believe that the reason that you didn't have anybody die around you is because they all took a vaccine? I hope you're spouting a narrative, but 2026, please explain yourself. What the fuck do you mean? Because I had people that got vaccinated that died in my family. I know a lot about this. Monoclonal antibodies, the respirators, the whole gambit. So I really don't like the fucking political nonsense of you didn't experience any kind of hardships whatsoever because you weren't around dumb, stupid, unvaccinated people? What the fuck are you talking about? The people that died in the hospital were not vaccinated. All right, well, I'm sorry, 2026, but unfortunately, you're too fucking stupid to continue to be a mod. We can't let people be mods that are that fucking stupid. Like, you're just being ignorant. You're also personally hurting my feelings because I had people that were vaccinated in my family that actually died in a hospital. And you're here spewing this ignorant fucking political democratic nonsense. You think you're higher than everybody else. You're reacting just like Dr. Fauci. Frankly, I don't believe you. Exactly. And this is what I mean. These are the people that we don't need in our lives, guys. We don't need them in our lives. They already fucked us over once, and we don't need them to fuck us over again.
Box.
That's disgusting.
Holding the disgrace.
That's disgusting.
Of Congress for deploying the fifth.
To have my grandfather die with a vaccine in his body in a hospital and have somebody over here sitting here telling me they didn't experience anything negative about the COVID-19 pandemic. They didn't ever get a foreclosure. They didn't ever have any job problems. They didn't have any fucking businesses they weren't able to walk into. They didn't have any graduations they weren't able to get to. They didn't have any relatives that they weren't able to talk to in the hospital. No. They lived a perfect and valued life because they were around vaccinated human beings. Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit, lying, manipulative donkey head. What the fuck, my guy?
Over 100 times.
What
Democrats
the
gave him
fuck?
a booster.
Disgusting.
What it will do.
And it just goes to show you as well, because again, this man has been a mod on this channel, interacting with me as a human being for, I don't even know, probably almost a month now. And then he's going to go out there, spew that nonsense, say he doesn't believe me, and he's so fucking broke he can't even afford $4 for a membership. Have a fucking nice day, 2026. See you fucking never.
Held a hearing openly designed
Ew.
to target a single doctor.
What a
and
fucking
dedicated public
retard.
servant who has testified before Congress many times before, and they wanted to blame him for everything that went wrong during the pandemic.
The chairman and others on the committee have said the quiet part out loud. They've shouted it repeatedly that their objective in that
GK
proceeding
Studio Productions
was, in fact, to put Dr. Fauci behind bars.
Kaylee, you're a lawyer. So Fauci's prior pardon covers earlier offenses, but it doesn't shield him from prosecution for this new act of noncompliance. Am I right on that? You're a lawyer. You've been practicing law for 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, ask Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro what happens
Right,
when you don't
exactly.
comply with congressional committee, as they didn't with the January 6th committee. They did serve jail time. Look, this is pretty aberrational in that you have Senator Rand Paul saying, I will send this, refer it to the DOJ, but he doesn't have the 60 votes in the Senate. This is a really complex legal question. It involves the Fifth Amendment. You have to have a reasonable belief you could be prosecuted. But Fauci was asked questions about the color of the carpet, and he would not answer that. And it is very difficult to think you would have a reasonable belief you could be prosecuted for answering the color of the carpet wrong.
Go watch Perez Hilton
it's
live,
complex.
Toby.
It would be litigated
that's
up
a
through the
different
Supreme
show,
Court,
bro.
very likely. I don't
Sorry.
suspect that you're going to see jail time anytime soon. I do want to address this just from a macro level quickly, because I was on vacation last week when much of this happened. I was in the Situation Room with Dr. Fauci. I was in the Oval Office with Dr. Fauci. I had phone calls with Dr. Fauci. I spent a lot of time with this man. And I'm very frustrated because the American people deserve answers. This was a really complex time. These were tough public policy calls, yes. But the science was there that schools should be open.
It's not even about being respectful. It's about just like doing exactly what Fauci is doing. You're lying to protect something that is dangerous and hurting millions of human beings. Just say sorry and shut the fuck up. Just say sorry and shut the fuck up. Because everybody's being way too fucking nice about you ruining our lives.
And I've been reading through these diaries, and they're long.
It's about time.
I haven't gone through every single
We need to
page.
get fucking done with this.
It reminds me when I stood at the podium on July 9th, and I said this. I said the CDC director said kids are minimally affected by COVID. I said there are 22 million kids that depend on going to school for lunches. McKinsey and company said who's going to be most adversely affected by school closures. It's going to be students of color. HHS said 1/5 of all child abuse cases reported in school. The American Academy of Pediatrics said there would be morbidity and mortality for children. That's what I said. At the very same time, Dr. Fauci was writing in his diary, Bob Redfield, the CDC director, was defending the school CDC guidance of opening schools. Clearly, President Trump does not care about the safety of the children. 2 months prior to that, Fauci wrote in his diaries that kids were not getting their measles vaccinations and that there might be more excess death from measles than from COVID. And yet 2 months later, he's advocating in those very same
Toby is a complete retard too. Toby goes, who was his boss? Trump was his boss. Trump approved all this. Literally, you have the press secretary talking to you right now that was the press secretary at the time, explaining exactly what she was saying about obesity in school children when they pull them out of homes. And he was writing in a personal journal attacking the administration. You got to be a complete retard to think that Trump was on board with the same thing as him.
To. And the fact that they are not getting it, it is indeed a crime.
Yeah, I think that's a key thing, Harold. You know, these prolonged restrictions produced documented harms. Kaylee went through them.
Exactly.
Don't we have a right to know if he did any rigorous cost-benefit analysis when he enforced these measures on a mass public? If he didn't, can't he be liable for that?
No, he shouldn't be. I say a couple of things. I don't disagree largely with what Kate said, but I come at it slightly different. First, I believe that the two Democrats had raised the questions about we should always share information on this committee. I was in Congress when the Homeland Security Committee was created, the Homeland Security Department was created because it was created after 9/11. And this committee has not been around, but for the 25 years, unfortunately, has to be around because of what happened 25 years ago on September the 11th. They should always share information. Two, Richard Blumenthal asked for an amendment to say, why don't we ask the Department of Justice, give us a piece of paper on what Fauci can share with us and not violate his the pardon that he got and what he can say to us. I thought it would have been good to do that. Finally, where I agree with Kaylee 100% in the premise of your question is, we need a 9/11 commission like we had after 9/11 to determine what we didn't do right. We didn't say to the Bush administration, because you guys didn't have a big imagination, we should hold you.
Hey! Just me dropping the huge super chat. Just me, what do you want? I'm yours. I'm your slave now. I'm your slave forever. Y'all are slaves to Just Me. Just Me is the greatest human being that has ever existed on this channel. Let's just put it that fucking way right there. My fucking God, my guy. Thank you for the huge support. Appreciate you being here so long, helping support the channel, keeping us independent. Man, that really helps a lot. That helps hit the weekly goals at the end of this week, and I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank fucking Just Me for his huge super chats, everybody. He just out super chatted and out donated anyone that has ever helped support this channel, and I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Just Me. Back to the news. My God, what in the world?
That he is completely free of anything.
Huge win, Just Me. Huge win.
Has a decorated career as a medical doctor, helped us with public health emergencies in the past, and I just have a little grace about that, because I would hate to have seen the email shortly after 9/11 between the White House and some people in the White House and even outside of it.
I'm not even going to ask the rest of the night. He just cleared it up. No PBS advertisement tonight, guys. No pitching for the fucking one last time. Double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and become a member for $4 a month. But other than that, we going free. We going free the rest of the night because there's no reason to grift when we're getting all the donations we need from Just Me today. Appreciate you.
Attack on the World
so
Trade
much,
Center.
my guy.
Right after what happened in COVID.
Woo!
In the Trump administration. I think leadership, my party was so critical of President Trump.
If I can figure out how to, if I can figure out how to re-add your membership and pay for it, I will. I got to see if I can gift membership back to you so that we can get your flag back on
We're going to get through this. Everybody calm down. It's
but
not
still,
as bad as you think. That's what leaders do. And I think people who have not been in leadership or around leadership don't have an appreciation for that. Mr. Paul and Mr. Fauci have a particular inhumane dislike for one another, and it shows. But they should not allow their pettiness and their childish-like behavior to get in the way of us getting to the bottom of the questions that you ask and the questions that so many others ask. And more importantly, Greg,
he literally said no need to grift. Yeah, exactly. I have to grift. I have to grift to my audience to ask them for donations, and I get somebody like Just Me that helps out on such a huge scale that I don't have to grift the rest of the show. But the reason that I'm grifting is because I have to grift to my community so that I don't grift for the pharmaceutical refs. So I don't have better help telling me how I can talk. So I don't have Black Rifle Coffee telling me how I can talk. Obviously, I'm going to grift, but we're done grifting for the day because Just Me just fucking did us in, helped the channel, kept us in survival mode for at least another 2 weeks on his own.
My God. Policymakers and politicians in the future
Huge
will certainly
appreciation.
have to answer because we will have another pandemic and we will have another vicious attack on our country. And thank God we had the 9/11 Commission to give us some guide.
That's a fair point about a commission. You know, Martha, though, I can see how holding Fauci accountable for his judgment during the pandemic is hard because you will have contested interpretations of whether the judgment was right, wrong. But the bigger question is, did he cause the pandemic? It's like we're sitting here focusing on how it unfolded and how it harmed the American public.
That's the thing that people aren't getting, which is like he did it.
He directed funds to the lab that caused the pandemic, and then he shaped the messaging to discourage an investigation of that possibility. That's not judgment.
That's a huge. I had Robert Redfield on the show today. He was the head of the CDC that Kaylee just talked about. A virologist.
Thank you, Just Me, for not making us
profession,
panhandle. Absolutely.
Very earnest, soft.
The God, Daddy Trump himself, man. Just Me today.
And he basically said, I was saddened by watching Dr. Fauci because he had an opportunity to tell the truth. When he says that, he's talking about what they talked about, what they both knew. And Robert Redfield said from the beginning, this virus has been engineered. It has a structure to it.
Panhandling on the internet is wild as fuck. Happens on a daily basis. Guys, you're on a mobile live stream. Just scroll. I guarantee you every third live stream you're getting is going to be some homeless person being like, please give me $1.
From nature. The structure to this virus comes
it's
from
the way we live, all right?
And Anthony Fauci,
especially when they don't throw the
before
advertisement
COVID,
on these mobile feeds.
Pandemic began, before the virus surfaced, said that when he was asked about gain of function research, he said, I think that the benefits outweigh the risks. Does he still believe that? That the benefits outweigh the risks?
I know, and that's why Just Me, I don't know if I can, but I am going to try my hardest to see if I can re-implement your membership or if I can get you a year or something or if I can gift it directly to you or something. And if I can, I'll get it back
Dr.
on there
Redfield
for you.
said to me today, I fear that we will have another pandemic, and I fear that it will come from a lab again, because this work is still happening, and it is still going on. And these labs, as we know about the lab in China, had failed safety inspections. It was documented that people were worried about what could get out of that lab. And we ended up scarred not only medically, but psychologically, emotionally, socially, for a very long time.
You know, I'm looking at this, Jesse, this implosion of Fauci's reputation and credibility, and I think of one young man who's been vindicated. And do you know who that man is?
Me.
Jesse Waters.
I agree. Good evening, I'm Lucas Tomlinson, and this is your Fox News Report. Dr. Anthony Fauci could be facing criminal prosecution. A Republican-led Senate committee voted to hold him in contempt of Congress today for refusing to answer questions about his handling of the COVID pandemic. At a hearing last week, he invoked the Fifth Amendment more than 100 times. And Iran claims it's close to cutting a deal with Oman over the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. naval blockade could weigh heavily on the potential deal. Meanwhile, President Trump is denying reports that the military is low on munitions.
I'll figure it out after this live stream. Late tonight, I'll see if I can get your shit back.
Dismisses Alan Murdoch's $600,000 lawsuit against former clerk of court Becky Hill. Murdoch sued for legal fees from his first trial for the murders of his wife and his son. He accused Hill of interfering with jurors. His conviction was overturned, leading to a retrial. And a salmonella outbreak linked to jalapenos sickens hundreds of people.
Oh, fuck!
In 27 states.
I eat a lot of jalapenos, guys.
The distributor in Mexico is to blame.
Ah,
Peppers
shit!
Are now being recalled, with some restaurants like Chipotle removing them from menus.
Uh-oh!
And a new flu shot is coming. The FDA has approved Moderna's vaccine for adults 50
I got
and
cramps
older.
and I ate Chipotle
It's the first
yesterday.
ever made with mRNA technology for seasonal influenza. In Washington, Lucas Tomlinson, have a great night.
Uh-oh! That one scared me a little bit. I ate a Chipotle.
Dropping a profanity-laced nuke on the Dems' newly minted radical in Michigan, Dr. Abdul.
When I watch Abdul, he's full of If you remember, during my State of the Union speech from a little while ago, I made a very strong statement. I said that America will never be a socialist country. What I didn't say is
little bitch. That's funny.
what they're trying to do. They want to skip socialism. They want to go right down to the bottom of the barrel. That's communism. They want it to be a communist country. We're not letting them have it as a communist country, not even for a minute.
Twice this week.
Meanwhile, Dr. Abdul's in the lab, experimenting with a brand new political formula to convince everyone he's not a socialist.
Look at the background. It says no tax on tips. The man can't stay on focus. That's like the one thing that he did to offer any economic relief. But instead of that, he's more focused on me. The question that people are asking is not where do you stand on the left-right spectrum on a series of issues that people talk about on CNN. I'm not a socialist, but I am a scientist. And so I like empirically driven answers.
I'm not a socialist, but I'm a scientist? Yo, what?
To hard problems, I like to solve them.
But the old guard isn't ready to surrender. The New York Times reporting that moderate Dems are beating the war drums and prepping for a fight with the socialist faction of the party. However, there's no salty grapes for Abdul's former opponent, Haley Stevens, embracing the phony physician at a unity breakfast this morning. All right, Harold Ford Jr., I don't think you've commented on this race yet. How's it going?
If I were up 12 to 15 points like the doctor was several days ago, at least the public and some private polling suggested. First, it's good to be back with everybody. I missed everybody.
It's you too, Harold.
And I won by less than a point, or even if I won by 12 to 15 points, you have to have a humility. You have to have a willingness to not ask people to unite around you, but to unite around the ideas and the things that you care about, the things that you want to do on behalf of people.
I appreciate you so much.
Give him a couple of days. He didn't show that 2 nights ago, the last couple of nights. I was happy to see the Congresswoman extend the grace that she has. 2, I would say to him and to President Trump, to Dr. Syed, who I don't know, the blaming of Trump for everything and Trumpism, I get it. Try to unite the party around that. That's not what's going to win this election. I would say to President Trump that calling us socialist and communist, and for that matter, using profanity, that won't be enough.
Yeah, for that matter. Using profanity, oh no. He said the F word, oh no. He's full of shit.
Contest.
He didn't even say fuck. Like, honestly, nobody gave a shit when Donald Trump said, these 2 countries, talking about fucking Iran and Iraq, or Iran and Israel, these 2 countries have been fighting forever. They don't know what the fuck they're talking. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing anymore. No one had any problem with that. They have a huge problem with him saying the word shit now. They have a problem with the word shit.
Of ideas. I think a little differently than some who, my Democrat friends, who think this could very well be a wave election. It just might be. But it won't be a wave unless we focus on issues. I think that voters are going to surprise people all across the country by rewarding the candidate who puts forward the best set of ideas to address the priorities and failings and concerns in their own lives. That's the one gratifying thing, the one positive takeaway I have from all of this, Jesse. It's hard for me to wrap my arms around how you could be for no police, no borders, no prisons, supporting Hamas, no president, no Senate, and say somehow or another you're for America. Put aside Democrat or Republican, how you can say you're for America. I don't think those ideas are going to be the ones that prevail in the fall. And I also don't believe that the president is going to be able to get away with the profanity, nor will Democrats be able to get away with a socialist, communist lean. You're going to have to offer answers. And whomever does that best, Democrat or Republican, they will win.
And now Democrats are fighting a two-front war. They're spending $15 million to fight the far left, and they're fighting Trump.
Neither JFK Jr.
Yeah, that's right. And I agree with pretty much everything you said. I think that's really smart political analysis. I mean, if it was enough just to attack Trump, our friend with the great hair, Sri Tanadar, would be, in fact, still serving in Congress. He lost the nomination yesterday. He was the one who kept impeaching Trump. That wasn't enough. You had to be a socialist. He was outflanked on the left by a progressive DSA member. Harold's right. You need to have a little humility in politics. And I have not seen that from El Sayed. I watched a 21-minute, rather boring interview, I would note, on CNN. And I saw a lot of hubris in there. I saw hubris when he was asked point blank, do you denounce Hassan Piker? The guy who says America deserves 9/11, the guy you were at a pool party at the day before your election, the guy who dismissed crimes against Israeli Jews on October 7th, against children, against infants. He would not do that. He instead pivoted, wouldn't denounce Hassan Piker, really low moment. But the hubris is one thing that I would really focus on with him. Politico had a write-up when they thought this was even. We didn't know if he'd win or lose. They said the day of the election, he flashed his Whoop fitness bracelet and said, look at this, guys. And it said stress level was low. He thought he was going to run away with this election. He was waxing poetic about 2028 and being a power broker there. This is a man who was bragging that he's getting more sleep than the reporters. He thought he was waltzing into this. It didn't happen. That being said, he's very clever. He's very crafty. He's a snake. He knows how to disguise socialism. But what he doesn't have is what Mamdani has. In that interview that Martha
McConnell just isn't a socialist,
Zohran Mamdani
was
very
maybe
good.
you just
You saw
scared him
Zohran
because he's
Mamdani
actually
be
good.
charming. You saw him package socialism in the same way this man can. But he has a humility, and this man has a hubris. And ultimately, that's his downfall. Along with last point, he won 0 of 15 counties in Michigan with the least amount of college degrees. He won 13 of 15 with the greatest college degrees. And what that tells me is the smartest people in our country are the people with no college degrees in the Michigan primary and the Democratic Party, because they saw straight through this so-called non-socialist.
Very Fox News response.
Well, maybe it's because he's a scientist, Greg, and people
and all the scientists need to vote for him. Exactly.
He's a scientist. Joe Biden is a doctor.
Biden's a doctor.
America is not going to become a socialist country, but the Democrat Party could be a socialist party. And this is the problem with the Dems. First, I want to talk about the Dems, and then I want to talk about the rest of us. The Dems have suffered from years of cowardice. They've refused
They're starting to get
draw
real
a line in the
crazy. They're starting to get real
and
crazy,
let
guys.
themselves dependent upon the very faction it's now trying to contain. To save the party, they need to publicly disagree with the DSA on the border, on trans, and crime. Yet their party's culture, the incentives, the risk aversion makes that impossible. They treated the DSA like a junior partner rather than a rival ideology, and now they're paying the price. They adopted, the Democrat Party made the mistake of adopting the left's language on everything. You know, the border, abolishing ICE, gender ideology, you can go on and on and on with those phrases, crime, defunding the police. That created a vacuum for this organized left that had the energy and the moral fervor to fill, which wasn't there with the Democrats. And now the Democrats, they fear donor flight from the progressive arena. So they don't know if they want to upset this faction that has a cultural and youthful leverage.
Yo, like Fox News used to be like really crazy, but now Fox News is like Fox News and NBC are the only ones that are like legitimate anymore. Like Meet the Press and Nikki. And if she's not on there, then NBC goes wackadoodle as well. But it seems like Fox News and NBC are the only ones even reporting American news anymore. It's fucking crazy.
It's there.
Everything else is
The
like this
cost of
contorted,
fighting them
weird ass.
will
opinion.
invite warfare and
They're still
alienate
grifting, but at least you know what they're doing.
But more important, I resent
They're reporting the
having to
news at least
debate
still too.
over ideologies that have not only failed but killed millions. That we're having this discussion is offensive. So I feel like we should leave this with the Democrats.
Yeah, NBC.
And focus
Surprise,
not on
right?
articulating a message, but implementing the message that we have. Because if you think about it, all the major fronts we've won.
Not World News Tonight, though. I'm not talking about the nightly news on NBC. I'm talking about Nikki and Meet the Press. I'm talking about the press corps at NBC.
On the trans agenda,
they're on two different pages.
Agenda, which
that nightly news program, that's why.
The open border
that's
agenda.
Anti-Trump.
And for good reason. Their reality got a cold shower. Men can't be women. Fossil fuels are necessary. A country can't survive without a border. Crime is not a lifestyle of the oppressed. And your identity doesn't matter when you're making me a smoothie. So all of these destructive beliefs were beaten, but still they're alive and twitching in the DSA. And if they don't put that out, the Democrat Party's toast. So that's their battle. It's not ours.
Take it away, Martha.
So I agree with everything that has been said, and I would only add this.
The neutral one,
the pressure is mounting
let's go to CNN.
on the
let's
Ohio
check out the
congressman
neutral
from inside his own party. Ohio's other senator, Republican John Husted, saying today, quote, "I believe Max would be making the right decision to step aside as a candidate and resign from Congress to focus on what's in the best interest of his daughter. Years from now, I believe he will look back and know it was the right choice for her," end quote. Montana Republican Senator Tim Sheehy went much further, saying this, quote, "This guy is clearly a degenerate sociopath. Max should step aside and seek help," end quote. Miller has repeatedly said he will not drop out or resign, and he called for an ethics investigation
It's your
into himself.
father-in-law. Your father-in-law is a fucking... You break up with your wife. Your wife is crazy. She says that you abuse your children even though there's no proof. You're a House rep. And now your father-in-law, who's a senator in the Republican Party in the same state, is trying to attack you and kick you out. Yeah, I'd hold my last fucking breath too if I was Max.
Which is now underway. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, is not calling on Miller to resign, saying he would speak to Miller while the investigation plays out. But frankly, it doesn't seem like it's high on his list of priorities. Watch.
There's all sorts of domestic events going on with 435 members of Congress all the time. It's not my business to get engaged in it. The House Ethics Committee does its work, and of course they apparently have legal proceedings going between the two.
This isn't the everyday domestic affairs of 430.
No, it's played out in the public, and it's awkward.
One of the things that really crystallizes what this is really about is the apparent saga around Max Miller's daughter's stuffed bunny. And any parent knows that if you have a child who sleeps with a stuffed animal, it is absolutely heartbreaking.
Oh my God, you see what they're doing here? They're doing this women shit. Guarantee you anything that Max Miller probably had the bunny. And so now in these court filings, they're saying that he kept the bunny from his kid. Anybody that's divorced knows exactly what's going on here.
Discover you've left it behind. Your child might be beside him or herself. And it seems like some of this played out with Max Miller and his daughter's stuffy. There have actually been at least 3 documented incidents. Can you walk us through, I know you have new reporting that you've put out today, of the times that Max Miller has apparently withheld this bunny. And again, he denies the abuse allegations against him.
How is that abusive? Denying a stuffed animal bunny to your own daughter is abusive now? And we're going to kick you out of Congress. What the fuck is this?
I want to underscore that. But when he apparently denied his daughter access to this bunny, and this happened as recently as this past week.
Yeah. So Senator Bernie Moreno.
Oh my God. He denied access to a stuffed bunny to his own daughter? Get him out of Congress. Get him out of Congress, everybody. How dare he? How abusive. How insane.
Brought this up the other day.
Deepest allegation.
Capitol building and talked about how recent it was. And so after that, Congressman Miller posted these screenshots that he says proved that he did not withhold the bunny, that he was working with their parenting.
See, he tried to give her back the bunny. Bunnygate.
Coordinator to get the bunny back to the child. After that,
he's clearly not. Like, you've got people that are diving onto this, being like, "Oh, he's the worst person in the goddamn world." The whole goddamn thing's about a stuffed bunny in a divorce case. Obviously, he shouldn't resign. And then they're like, "Oh, there's a house committee a House investigation committee into him. And then you find out he's the one that brought about the House investigation committee to prove his own innocence. And now you got CNN and they're like, breaking news, everybody. We got the papers from the divorce. Looks like he held the bunny from his child. What the fuck are we talking about?
Got some screenshots of emails and messages from a source that showed that Max had, on several occasions, withheld the bunny or made it difficult to get the bunny. In one incident, the parenting coordinator said that Max was refusing to give it back. I believe that was the most recent one.
No way.
Yeah, let's put that up on the screen, actually. And
let's put that up on the screen, and they do. They have it on the screen. Speaker Johnson are handling this poor. These allegations are deeply serious and concerning, and they should each be called on Max Miller to resign. They were very public about their comments regarding Eric Swalwell and Graham Plattner. This should be no different. Eric Swalwell raped a woman. Graham Plattner opened the door 30 years ago to a fat lady. And this man stole a bunny from his own child. The levels are Swalwell, Graham Plattner. I mean, the Nazi tattoo, you know. Stole a bunny. Bro, what are we doing?
And then you can continue to talk about it. So this is...
Bunny's about to lose us a fucking goddamn congressman.
The parenting...
I'm not coddling him. I advised him to let your dad get the bunny preferably from the mailbox, but he adamantly refuses. But I've suggested you keep the bunny at your house to avoid these situations because unfortunately in a high conflict divorce, these situations blow up often. That's from the parenting coordinator that they're both paying. Yeah, the parenting coordinator is saying, hey, woman, quit giving the fucking bunny to this crazy guy that you're fighting with. Because maybe he's using it as leverage. Or maybe you are, and that's why you're so fucking obsessed over this goddamn bunny.
Coordinator, and it says here, I'm not coddling him. I advised him to let your dad get the bunny. Presumably that your dad refers to Senator Bernie Moreno, preferably from the mailbox.
So the House rep wouldn't give up the bunny, so the Senator of Ohio is going to come out to the fucking guy's house and get the bunny. Why the fuck is the House rep and the goddamn Senator of Ohio worried about a motherfucking bunny?
But he adamantly refuses, but I've suggested you keep the bunny at your house to avoid these situations. Because unfortunately in a high conflict divorce, these situations blow up often.
Yeah, no shit.
So, and this dates, I mean, the documentation you have around these incidents, some of it dates back over a year.
Right, to March 2025, Emily Moreno sent Max multiple emails, saying, please, Max, give the bunny back, and please tell me if...
Scott Jennings just responded. Seems like a very few more voices today are encouraging Miller to do the right thing and put his family first. So again, their version of the Republican version of kicking this guy out is saying he needs to focus on his family. He needs to go back and focus on the bunny. He needs to focus on taking the bunny to his kid. You even got Scott Jennings on CNN defending this, being like, yeah, he needs to give up the Congress seat and become a bunny master. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
If you've lost it, then that's one thing. But if you're not giving it back for the sake of not giving it back, that's torture and it's awful.
Yeah, let's put that up on
Wow, it's torture. Yeah, it's torture. Torture that you're not giving back the bunny. Who would have fucking thought, guys?
Screen. So in March 2025, Emily Moreno asks Max Miller to return her bunny. So her daughter's 1.
Redacted. Please give her bunny back. She's had it since birth, sleeps with it every night, carries it with her around the house, and sees it as a source of comfort. You have always delivered it back to me when you drop her off. Please don't punish Redacted if you're upset with me. I'm willing to pick it up from the house, your mailbox. You can drop it in my mailbox, please. Thank you, Emily. The next day, Morano emailed Miller again about the same subject. Max, if you lost it, please just let us know. If you're choosing not to return our daughter's favorite toy for other reasons, that's just cruel. This just sounds like a fucking crazy bitch. This is why you never get fucking caught up with the crazy bitch, guys. You get caught up with the crazy bitch, and she ruins your time.
This point in time. So and the redacted is the name of her daughter. Please have her bunny back. She's had it since birth. She sleeps with it every night, carries it with her around the house.
Mind you, isn't it incredible that they're being like, oh yeah, did you see Swalwell? Did you see Graham Plattner? Well, now we got Bunnygate over here. Like, fucking, give me a fucking break, guys. Like, you have two people that apparently abused women directly. And then you have a guy that might have forgotten to drop off the bunny when he dropped off his daughter in a divorce. Did he break his daughter's arm? No. He didn't respond to the woman when the woman and the Congressman of Ohio asked for the bunny back.
Sees it as a source of comfort. You've always delivered it back to me when you drop her off. Please don't punish our daughter if you're upset with me. I'm willing to pick it up from your house, your mailbox.
That's so
drop it in my mailbox, please.
That's so
Thank you,
condescending.
Emily.
I've dealt with
and then
this
the next
person
day,
before.
she emailed him again and says, Max, if you lost it, please let me know. If you're choosing not to return our daughter's favorite toy for another reason, that's just cruel.
Yeah, it's a dumpster fire
Yeah,
investigation
so what
bullshit. And the thing is that the Republicans are eating right into it. It's the same cancel culture bullshit, except the Republicans' response is the same as Scott Jennings. Seems that there are a few voices out there today encouraging Miller to do the right thing and put his family first. Miller should do the right thing and return the bunny and quit being a congressman because he wouldn't let the senator of Ohio come over and get his granddaughter's bunny back. The fuck are we doing here?
Found through these screenshots of emails.
This is insane. I thought it was going to be something legitimate. This is so dumb.
The bunny that the child loved so much,
the bunny did it
every night, was being.
I can't believe it.
By.
And then Scott Jennings says again, but unfortunately the president is the most likely person to get him to move, and he is not doing so. Yeah, God forbid, Donald Trump isn't condemning this man for stealing a bunny.
Congressman Miller. And I reached out to Congressman Miller's team, his lawyers, last night, and have still gotten no response.
Carrie, Dan, I mean, this is, this set of examples puts a very sharp spotlight on what is a broader story about the congressman. Of course, he denies this pattern of the allegations of abuse that 3 women have leveled at him over.
Sabrina says, agree with Scott. I think only person that can make a move for Miller to step aside is Trump, but he's refusing to do so.
The course of years.
Yeah.
The question for...
Can you imagine if this man gets reelected and he just goes around stealing bunnies from children? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if he withholds the bunny and he goes all the way to D.C. and he does something for the people of Ohio and he forgot to put the fucking bunny in the mailbox? Can you imagine?
A lot of Republicans behind the scenes is whether this is putting his congressional seat in jeopardy. Now, there is, of course, a moral judgment to be made, right? And again, Max Miller denies all the allegations. But it is the political one that might force him to take some sort of action. So far, the president has not.
Miller won by double digits. Perhaps polls showing this now have much closer district will get Trump's attention. Trump doesn't care about the polls,
We've been reporting there's all kinds of pressure behind the scenes. What is the possibility that all the things that we just laid out here could ultimately cost Max Miller this seat?
You have
this is a seat that Democrats identified months ago as a potential target.
Yeah, Democrats, when the man had a Nazi tattoo, and then he was also a communist, and also he had government benefits, and he also abused 3 different women in a speculative form, we got rid of him. When we had a sitting person that was fucking a Chinese spy, and then we found out through video evidence that he was raping women, we got rid of him. So why aren't they getting rid of the bunny master?
It's one that Donald
Why
Trump
aren't the Republicans
won by
getting rid of the
11
bunny
points.
master?
In this political environment, that is not a crazy reach for Democrats to be able to get. They also really like their candidate in this race. His name is Brian Poindexter. He is an iron worker. He's sort of one of these guys that looks like I feel like Washington Democrats love candidates who look like this. He presents as very working class. He's wearing a hard hat in the ads. They feel like he's going to be really well resourced in this district. And so this is definitely a district that could potentially be in play. We currently have it rated as likely Republican at the Cook Political Report. If Max Miller does not drop out by a deadline of Monday, we will move that into a more competitive category.
Yeah. Sochi, what are Democrats talking about in terms of this district now? And again, this conversation...
He's got till Monday to give the bunny up. He's got till Monday to give the bunny up. Scott Jennings says, the politics are secondary to me. All I can think about is that poor little girl, the Morano family, and what would have been best for her future. Obviously not having this play out in front of the national media would be better. Yeah, this guy should just quit his job because his father-in-law is throwing a fit about not receiving a bunny back during a fucking divorce.
Moral.
He should just quit his job and go away.
Again, the reality is that Max Miller is digging in because of the politics.
Well, and the Republican Party has a decision to make. They can either do the right thing, and by Republican Party, I truly mean Donald Trump and Mike Johnson. Donald Trump has a tight grip on his party. And the interview with Jake Tapper from earlier this week was very clear that Miller was talking to one person, and that was Donald Trump. And he understands that if Donald Trump were to call on him to resign, that is it for his political career, and that cannot happen. Donald Trump holds a lot of power. He can either show us...
Agree with Scott. This is horrible, and at the end of the day, this is about their daughter and her future. Then why is a sitting senator getting involved as the father-in-law? Why is a sitting senator saying that Max Miller needs to leave? Why is a sitting senator more worried about a fucking stuffed bunny than the number of Republicans that are in the House? You want to make this all about Max Miller. Max Miller didn't make this happen. His ex-wife and the senator of Ohio, who is her dad, made this happen. Max Miller did not do anything to his family, except maybe he forgot the fucking bunny.
The Party is going to embrace
guys.
Allegations of assault, and that character is negotiable when it comes to the Republican Party because it's potentially a close seat that Democrats could take.
Scott Jennings, I know, and I believe Bernie Moreno when he says that they've been put into the 7th level of hell. He's like, I believe the sitting senator of Ohio because I'm just a rep for CNN and the Republicans.
Or he could do the right thing and do what is probably best for not only the Republican Party, but for the Moreno-Miller family, and ask for him to resign and take an actual stand on principle. And so far, he has not done that. And the way that Democrats have seen this is...
But it's disgusting anyway, because it makes you unpopulist. It makes you unpopulist. If Max Miller wants to run and Max Miller can win, then Max Miller gets to win. This whole response, because this is what they did to Graham Plattner. He said he wouldn't resign or wouldn't drop out. And then all 50 plus the independent Bernie Sanders said that if he was elected as the senator of Maine, they would refuse to allow him into the Congress. And now we got the same thing here where they're saying Donald Trump and the Republicans need to come forward and say, if this guy runs, that even if he's elected by the people, we won't let him be a part of Congress. We're doing this on the Democrat and the Republican side, guys. That's crazy.
As quick as I would like, but quick to call on folks in their own party to either step aside or to not run for re-election. And that is not happening here. Democrats now do see this as a competitive seat. They see this as if Miller remains, that they will continue to make the case of character.
Yeah, Democrats have standards. They just believe all women. While Republicans are like, I don't know, is a stuffed animal divorce really that big of a deal?
In order to win that seat. But it is unfortunate. And it's unfortunate for this little baby girl.
It's unfortunate that he forgot the bunny one day.
Like
Jesus
her father
fucking
is
Christ,
trying
my
to
God.
inflict pain on her.
For
what reason? I mean, it is just, it's heartbreaking to me. Everyone, if you don't have a kid, you're probably thinking it's a stuffed animal. It's not just a stuffed animal. You're trying to inflict pain on a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old who already does not understand what is happening in her family. And her parents and her dad is using her sort of for political purposes, and now she's having to go through all of this. It's just heartbreaking.
I just fucking can't.
New tensions
The
in the Strait of
grifting of it
Hormuz.
all.
An oil tanker today reporting 2 nearby explosions as President Trump says he is still pursuing a deal with Iran, despite his administration admitting that the negotiations have been anything but easy.
Number one, the Iranians are extraordinarily difficult people. Number two, they have a fractured system. Our job is to navigate through that and get the best outcome for the American people, but for the President of the United States as well. And I do think that where we will ultimately land, it's going to be messy and it's going to take some time to get there.
Our senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey reports
Sort
live
of
from the
Bad
White House.
Bunny.
Doesn't sound like a lot of progress, Peter.
Well, depends on who you ask. And we hear a lot about stuff in Iran getting blown up. We don't hear a ton about people in Iran getting blown up until now.
Until now? What?
We
Until
will have
now?
completed something in a short period of time. We'll knock the hell out of it. Knock the hell out of it. I'd rather make a deal because I don't want to kill people. I do not want to kill people.
He is doing it.
And he is disputing reports the U.S. has cleaned out precision surface-to-surface missiles with this Truth Social post. The U.S. has massive amounts of munitions, especially of certain types. Additionally, large amounts are being manufactured and shipped to the U.S. as needed. Defense companies are building the largest number of plants and factories in our country's history.
Very
The
hungry.
leakers
Welcome to the
of
mod
these
club.
treasonous
Don't abuse it or
statements
you
are being
lose it.
hunted down. Long-term jail sentences will be sought. In a separate post, he also just said he thinks Pete Hegseth is doing a great job. And now for the first time, the Iranians on their side of the table are offering up specifics about a deal to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Map the transit routes, the entering and exiting of maritime traffic, and those bilateral agreements with Oman. This progress is on the verge of being finalized.
The Iranian wish list that they rattled off there, where they talk about the map, transit routes, and the entering and exiting of maritime traffic, that obviously did not include nuclear anything, but President Trump says that doesn't mean they aren't talking about nuclear. He says, of course they are. That's what this is all about. John.
All right, we'll see where all this goes. Peter Ducey with the update from the White House. Peter, thank you.
Meanwhile, the United Nations now calling out the Iranian regime for its, quote, deeply troubling executions. The fresh criticism coming after Iran executed at least 56 people on national security charges since the start of the war. Dozens more reportedly await the same fate. Danny Danon is here. Israeli ambassador to the UN. Just sickening to hear about this. Just first get your thoughts on that, Ambassador.
That's horrible. You know, our prayers with the Iranian people. You know, dozens of people were already executed, Sandra. And when you look at the way the trials took place, 2 hours for a death penalty, basically. And they killed the opposition. And there are 100 more awaiting a death. I think it should be condemned. And you don't hear the international community. Where is the UN condemnation, the Security Council? Everybody is quiet. Basically, when it comes to Iran, they let them do whatever they want. But I tell the Iranian people, we are with you, we are praying for you, and hopefully sooner than later there will be a new regime that will not deal with this population the way they are doing.
I don't know what it's going to take to do that, because there doesn't seem any indication at this point that the IRGC is about to fall. But this really does tell you who this regime is. We had a guest on yesterday who quipped that being a moderate Iranian politician is going to the public execution but not attending the after party.
That's sickening. And I speak with people who got out from Iran. You know, they live in fear. They are afraid for their life. And you know, a lot of people were wounded during the demonstrations. And this regime should not be in power, period. I hope it will happen sooner than we expect. But meanwhile, we want the international community to take action, to condemn. You know, in September, you're going to have the General Assembly. All the leaders will come to the UN. The Iranian leader will also come to New York City. He shouldn't be welcomed here. He should be condemned for this behavior.
Yeah. I mean, which brings us to the point now in this war. Can we ever take Iran at its word? I had the former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Fox and Friends earlier this morning, and he said this.
There is
what does it sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger? Somebody in the chat says, the U.S. is the ambassador to Israel. Why does he sound like Arnold Schwarzenegger?
was essentially running Iran today, and it's frankly been running Iran for the last 25 years. There's no reason to believe they've turned over a new leaf, that they all of a sudden now want Israel to exist and are okay with the United States. So a deal that gets signed is likely to be just a paper tiger, and that's what we need to make sure we understand.
So what does that mean for the future of this war?
We're all thinking it.
I agree with Secretary Pompeo. We have to be very careful with the Iranians. I remember, Sandra, in 2018, we got out from Tehran, the archive, and we saw what they did when they negotiated with President Obama. They were lying from the beginning. And I think today we have to be very careful about that. We have to verify everything. And you have to apply strength and power when you negotiate with them, and make sure you have that power, because otherwise they will continue with their nuclear ambitions, with harassing the people in Iran. And look what happened in the last few weeks. They attacked 12 countries in the region. Not Israel, by the way, because they know if they will attack us.
I don't pin the comments anymore, Two Gun Cohen, because then it keeps the poll at the bottom. But sometimes I'll pin them. I should start pinning them again. I should start pinning comments.
It would be painful for them. But they attacked 12 neighboring countries in the region.
Well, let me come back to something you said a moment ago, Mr. Ambassador, and that is the lack of outrage for what Iran is doing in terms of these public executions in the UN. Also, I remember last year when the conflict, in 2 years, I guess, conflict was raging between Israel and Hamas on college campuses across the country. We saw all of these anti-Israel protests. We haven't seen one person on a college campus protesting what Iran is doing. We have Mamdani threatening to arrest Netanyahu, yet he's not threatening to arrest Pezeshkian if he touches down in New York. There seems to be a real double standard here.
Absolutely. That's hypocrisy. It's dangerous. And we have seen it not only in the US, but also European countries. You know, they don't condemn Iran. They actually try to bypass the sanctions to make more money. But you know what? It will come back to them. Because Iran is not a threat only to Israel or the US. They are saying death to America, death to Israel, but they don't like the Europeans. They don't like the moderate Muslims. They feel superior. That's why they are so dangerous, and that's why we have to be strong.
What accent? What kind of accent is that?
Strong when we fight them.
I want to ask you, too, about just the relationship as it is in this moment of the United States and Israel, President Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. J.D. Vance, the vice president, was on with Laura Ingraham last night, and he responded to reports that Netanyahu confronted him. He said it didn't happen. Listen.
Axios was reporting that Benjamin Netanyahu confronted you recently at Blair House over the war. What can you tell us?
Well, yeah, because he did.
He didn't confront me. We had a nice and frank conversation. I mean, look, as I've said repeatedly, Laura, Israel has been a great partner. They're an ally of the United States of America, but like France or Britain or any other ally of the United States of America.
Okay, that guy's accent, Danny Danton, speaks English with a strong Israeli accent influenced by modern Hebrew. He was born and raised in Israel, although he studied at Florida International University, so his English is fluent, but retains noticeable Israeli pronunciation. He pronounced Israel Hebrew rhythm and intonation, rolled or throated R sounds at times, different vowel sounds than those used by Native American and British English speakers. Deliberate. Dude, this sounds like some Joe Biden has a stutter shit.
We sometimes have differences of opinion.
What can you add to that?
We have a great relationship. Prime Minister Netanyahu had his 8th visit meeting President Trump.
This is some fucking Joe Biden stutter
we
shit.
have an ongoing dialogue. We speak about the issues, and we happen to have the same enemies. So there is no issues, no confrontation. It's a bond, it's an alliance, and we are proud of it.
I want to ask you a quick question just before we go, and that is the deal that the president was touting between Israel and Hamas seems to be kind of falling apart at the moment. You were talking to us off camera, about Hamas's position on disarmament. What is it?
So we respect the president agreement, and we actually moving ahead with that. But now when Hamas must disarm, they came up with a new idea. They said, okay, we're going to disarm, we're going to put our weapons in a warehouse in Gaza, and we're going to have the keys.
Saying it's an Israeli accent, I don't know, guys.
Disarmament means that the weapon is out of Gaza completely. Once it will happen, we will pull out of Gaza and we can build a new future for Gaza. But we will not play games with Hamas. We learned the lesson from October 7th. Hamas will not have the capability to threaten Israel anymore.
Israeli Ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, thank you very much for being here.
Be sure to like and subscribe
for all the Fox News latest on YouTube.
I think we got one more.
What is really going on with this Roblox bloodbath and why you have this GTA 6, EA, and Microsoft news showing us it's going to get even worse? You have Tucker Carlson just dropping a manifesto for Republicans abandoning MAGA, and we go inside the huge problem of more election deniers now overseeing key swing state elections to break down what happens from here. We're talking about all of that and even more on today's brand new Philip DeFranco show. You daily dive into the news, starting with this. You are now witnessing the Roblocalypse, right? The Roblox apocalypse. There we go. My mouth worked this time. And if you haven't seen, one, it's got to be one of the most dramatic implosions I've ever seen in video game history. And two, it just exposes so much of what's happening right now regarding the entertainment industry, kids, and privacy. And really, depending on whatever happens next, you could be seeing the shape of the entire industry transforming sooner than many people realize. But where we got to start is with Roblox, right? Because the stock has fallen 70% over the past year, 36% in the last month alone, and $9 billion.
I love how they were like, pedophiles, not a problem. And then all of a sudden they start selling it and they're like, oh, well, now I got to sell it.
$1 billion in market value was just gone, poof, in a single day.
Woo,
and notably, you saw the
50%
downfall coming after its insane peak last summer when it attracted more players than every title on Steam combined. They were rocking 152 million daily active users, but since then, they shed nearly 30 million. And again, that's in less than a year. That's why you're the investment research firm Morningstar calling the numbers atrocious, saying virtually every engagement and payment metric is terrible. Though you then also had Rock, Paper, Shotgun putting it way more simply, writing the second quarter earnings report made for sobering reading if your name's Cash McInvestor person. Now, if you are unfamiliar with Roblox, which is completely normal if you are an adult person with no children and you're not a developer, basically, Roblox itself is not a game by itself per se. Or think of it more as a platform where players and developers make the games themselves.
It was the same as the metaverse. I was into the metaverse at the same time as Roblox, and then we started to get into it, and then we found out that Walmart actually owned Roblox, and we were like, well, no reason to get into that then.
Themselves using its design tool. Though also to a certain degree, you can lump it into a category of IPs that capitalize on the popularity of user-generated content like Fortnite and Minecraft. Though those arguably have very successful core games in them. And it's important to understand all that because according to the head of Roblox, the reason that they declined so much, it has to do with the types of games that people are playing on. Or basically, their version of events, the way they explain it is that fewer users are playing the games that went viral last summer. Games like Steal a Brain Rot and Grow a Garden, which would squeeze the most money out of players per hour through in-game purchases. And instead, more users are gravitating towards games that squeeze less money out of them per hour, but also keep them playing longer. And in fact, you have Roblox claiming that this shift was intentional, claiming that they changed their recommendation algorithm to prioritize long-term retention over near-term monetization. But what they say is that they just didn't expect the shift to be as big as it was, and that it proved to be too much of a shock to their balance sheets. And here you saw just a number of reactions. With some saying it was Roblox blaming their users, saying that it was their fault for not creating more viral games, or even though they do not work for them. You then also had a lot of frustrated players arguing that the company did all this to themselves by worsening the player experience with a string of bad updates.
They add AI moderation, which bans a bunch of people for no reason at all, and they force everybody to have a dynamic face, ruining basically everyone's avatar. But no, the lack of original and viral experiences, yes, that is the issue.
And because of the Face ID verification and whatever fucking other hurdles you have to do fucking anything on Roblox, less people are making Roblox accounts and less people are chatting, which means less people want to play Roblox.
I just think if they would have put out like slightly less updates and not over the developers and the player base so much, you know, by doing things like cutting their revenue and making you pay to put a good game out and stuff like that.
I knew that was going to happen. That's why I never got involved.
I think that this wouldn't have happened, but you know what?
It's owned by Walmart.
Wild guess.
What the fuck did you expect?
So they're saying you're fucking with the players and developers. You're incorporating AI in weird ways. There are massive privacy concerns. But then also regarding the changes with privacy, with people pointing to the fact that those were.
I had worked with Amazon on Amazon Prime for years, and then they fucked me over. They were giving me like $10,000-$15,000 a month on my films. I had over 500 films in my catalog when we were operating our distribution service ENV, and we sold everything to Tubi and Plex because the royalties year to year on Amazon swallowed up like half every year. 2018, we were making $10,000 a month as a company, and by 2020, when the boom of digitalization of streaming happened, they were giving us about $1,000 a month for those same products. So, and we were releasing new products and new movies as well. So it was like, we already saw that, and then we were going into like the whole metaverse versus Roblox thing at the time. And I was like, well, Roblox is owned by Walmart. So the entire objective of this is going to be the same as Amazon. They're just going to steal your shit. And that's exactly what they do.
in response to a very serious problem with the platform. Right? Likely part of the reason
we're going to cover the end of this, and then I'm going to drop off.
There was a whole scandal around adults grooming children inside
Rubio
of
wins
the
another
games,
one.
where you had numerous
JD
cases of
retired.
documented actual abuse happening after an in-game meeting. You even had it leading to lawsuits from multiple states, and so the company, they put in place age verification and stricter moderation. Though, of course, a lot of people not in love with the solution of a video game scanning their child's face. Right? But then also, like, even the platform's algorithm changes, you had the chief executive arguing that those were necessary. Because as you had New York Magazine putting it, currently, Roblox is a place where some of the most insidious trends of the contemporary internet, gambling, compulsive distraction, mindless consumption, and overall enshittification have hardened into governing realities.
I just wanted to say that through this time that we are going through as Trump's presidency, you've been recognized as doing good work, my friend, and your channel, the time you have put into this is incredible. Just as you support the people, we're supporting you. I appreciate you, Mr. Johnson, and we also got to have another huge shout out to Just Me for that huge PayPal donation today. Really helping out the channel and keeping us independent. Remember, you can throw those super chats, subscribe for that $4 a month, and help support the channel so we don't have sponsors. And the thing is that sponsors aren't necessarily a bad thing, but if you have a BetterHelp sponsor, you're not going to say things about pharmaceutical companies. If you have a Black Rifle sponsor, you're not going to talk shit about Tucker Carlson. Like, so it silences you no matter who you have as a brand or sponsor. And I don't blame the brands, I don't blame the sponsors, but I do appreciate all of you helping support the channel throughout the week so that we can keep growing and we can keep doing this every single day and we can say whatever the fuck we want.
Sustainable. It's got to shift from being a casino slot machine that's bilking 12-year-olds out of their parents' money to more high-quality games that prove durable over the long term. So that's in part why the CEO trying to paint the stock tanking as a short-term pain for long-term gain. Writing to investors, it's still early, but our data shows a positive lift in quality, stickier engagement game. And adding the benefits of higher retention, we believe, outweigh the near-term impacts we're seeing as improved retention and engagement compound into future growth. But in the meantime, you have some thinking that Roblox is just very vulnerable right now for a surprise attack from one of its competitors, namely Xbox.
Guys, keep
because
supporting, hit that
Xbox
double
is
tap.
home to Minecraft, which is actually still smaller than Roblox, even after the past year. But to a certain degree, they are fighting for the same market. I mean, it's even sometimes called Roblox before Roblox. And if you really want to dive into a rabbit hole, there are cool deep dives into how custom servers minted millionaires, but then also the problems with those servers. Right, not all, but some. But with all that in mind, you then also see Xbox's new CEO recently listing 4 overarching goals for the company going forward, and one of them is to make Minecraft the world's creator platform. And that also really stood out because the other 3 goals were, I'll say, more abstract, right? Things like grow great games into global franchises or extend the worlds that fans love. So the fact that Minecraft got its own goal and its own specific mention, that stands out. But also the timing here matters because that company is also going through its own challenges. Right, in the last fiscal year, you've had their revenue drop by $1.7 billion. Meanwhile, the cost of hardware components
anymore. Guys, I literally paid for the new Black Flag video game and was doing live streaming of it every night. And it just seemed so fucking boring and trivial. I was going from plot point to plot point, having cutscene to cutscene, doing commentary on it, and I would get 2 people watching me, and I was just bored shitless. I was like, I guess I'm just going to watch the news every night. I literally called my brother, and I was like, nobody watches video games, and even less people are even playing the video games. Our phones and the algorithms suck enough of our time away. I don't, unless you really actually enjoy video games like an extracurricular activity, like you enjoy pickleball or you enjoy singing or you enjoy fucking doing racing or whatever you do, fishing, whatever you do on the weekend, then you like video games. But video games as a whole, culturally, there's not a place and a time for them.
Actually, memory chips, those have shot.
Oh, whoops. Sorry about that. Well, that's about it anyway, guys. Let's get into it. We got down to 35 now. We're down to 35 right now. Let's get that photo of JD and Mr. Rubio up. Let's see if there is any other news for this hour left. There is no news for this hour, guys. So that is the show. Remember, the JD Vance still in retirement, still up by 60 votes. Mr. Rubio gets his 10th win. So we got JD Vance, which will be retired. We will go back for one more hour of news, and then we will come back for our late night edition, guys. If you haven't checked out late night edition yet, please do. We have a little bit of a different kind of way of looking at the news through those hours. We look at culturally the biggest podcasts in America, the biggest things on YouTube, and we go through all of it. I have a really good video if you guys loved it. Volkgeist is doing a new one that we have. This is the guy that did like our, he did all of those videos that we were looking at that were like how Trump became Trump and stuff. And he has a new one that we're going to watch tonight on how the government killed the city of New Orleans. As well as, let's see what else we got on the docket for that late night round. We got the final boss of cop LARPers. A guy is acting like he's a cop, and we got some body cam footage of that. We have Eric Good and Jeremy McBride on Joe Rogan. And we have Kevin Maldi. He built an AI agent that can hack you in 5 minutes on Sean Ryan. And I believe that's about it for that, late night hour. Oh, and then we have a guy who owns 4% of all of Bitcoin in the Diary of the CEO, which we'll check in on as well. Thank you all for watching. This has been No News is News. I'll be back in probably an hour or two. Going to grab myself some dinner and stuff. And then we will be back probably around 9, 10, or I would say about 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock Central Time, with all of that and all of the pop culture and other shit going on in the news these days. Until then, thank you all for stopping by. Make sure you double tap, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Thank you so much. No news is good news. Absolutely, Taco Bell. Welcome back to the chat. Please come back in the late night hour. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got the ultimate cop LARPer, and we have the destruction of the city of New Orleans. Until then, guys, I will see you later. Peace!